I still hear the words you spoke that night when the room went cold. You said your faith had shown you a path, and I was the one who had to go. We built a life on love and laughter, promises whispered soft and low. But the scripture in your heart turned our forever into a no. Heartbreak crashed like thunder in a sky that once was blue. I gave you every piece of me, but your belief said we were through.
You prayed for guidance, and the answer came back clear. The man you loved was the man you could no longer keep near. I stood there frozen, heart bleeding on the floor, watching the love we nurtured walk right out the door.
Every Sunday morning we would hold hands in the pew. You'd squeeze mine tight and say our love was something true. Now those same hands hold a Bible that says I'm the one to lose. The verses in your eyes turned our story into news. I remember late nights when we talked about the stars above. You said God brought us together, now He's pulling us apart with love. Yeah. 18 plus years of building something sacred in our own way. Now the sacred turned to silence, and I'm left here to decay. The photos on the wall still show us smiling side by side, but the smile in your eyes now feels like it's been crucified. I tried to understand, I read the pages you would read, hoping I could find a verse that said our love was free. But every line you quoted made the distance grow so wide. The faith that once united us became the thing that made you hide. I cry in the shower so the water hides the tears I shed, wondering how a loving God could leave me this misled. You left me cause your face said I was wrong. Heartbreak in the quiet where our favorite song once played along. I gave you my soul, my time, my everything I own. Now I'm left with empty pews and a heart turned into stone. Sad emotional goodbye wrapped in holy light. Love I thought was heaven turned into endless night. You left me cause your faith said I was wrong. Now the pain sings a different song. I still set the table for two when the evening comes around, and remember you're gone and the chair stays empty on the ground. The ring I never gave you still sits inside the velvet case, a symbol of the promise that your faith could not embrace. Friends from the congregation send me prayers in the mail, but none of them can heal the wound that made my spirit pale. 18 plus nights I replay the moment you said I'm sorry, this is it. Your voice was calm and steady like the scripture you would quote. I beg you to stay, said we could find a middle ground, but the ground you stood on was the one where I was never found. The church bells that once rang for us now sound like funeral tolls. Every note reminds me how the love inside you froze. Why did the God you served decide our love was sin? Why did the faith you held so tight become the end? I gave you every beating piece of this broken heart. Now those pieces lie scattered, torn apart. The love I thought was blessed turned into the deepest test. Sad emotional scars that time cannot arrest. This the long confession of the day your faith took you away. Heartbreak so deep it changed the color of my days. I still pray in the silence when the night gets too long, hoping somehow heaven hears the words of this sad song. You left me standing at the altar of a love that died, with nothing but the echo of the promises we tried. Every memory I hold feels like a double-edged blade. The faith that once united us is the faith that made you fade. I walk these empty streets with a heart that's full of rain, wondering if the love we lost will ever bloom again. You left me cause your faith said I was wrong. Now I sing this sad confession in the dark where I belong. The story is for every heart that ever loved and lost to believe. Sad emotional wound that brings no relief.